Hello and welcome to Hitting the High Note. I'm your host, Kim Cusack, and I am in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, joined by the lovely and talented Jenny Langer. Jenny, how are you doing today?
I am great today. Thank you for having me.
Very welcome. Now, you are a Jill of all trades, or a Jenny of all trades,
There you go.
and tell us what you do.
That's a big question. My main role currently, I'm the lead vocalist of the international touring band, the Boneshakers. Funk blues, if we need to put a label on it. And we have a brand new album coming out next month. So I've been working hard to coordinate those tours and make sure that all of our DJ friends know that this music is coming to them. But I also co manage several bands, and I really just enjoy helping and working with fellow artists.
Right on. And what bands do you co-manage?
I work with Brendan Lane out of Washington, D.C. I have some special event bands in the D.C. area as well. I also work with visual artists. There's a incredible photographer here in Nashville named Anna Haas, who I work with closely. And our next project is going to be for the Nashville Symphony.
Very nice. And you have a big show coming up in Nashville with the Boneshakers. Tell us more about that.
Yes, in fact, I was just at this venue last night. We're going to be coming to Third and Lindsley, incredible historical venue. I'm super stoked to be doing this show there. It's going to be on Tuesday, September 22nd, and we are joined by fellow Nashville artists, Piper and the Hard Times. So if you love blues, if you love funk, this is like the it night for Nashville.
What makes Third and Lindsley so magical?
It's been around for a very long time. I think anybody who's anybody in Nashville and surrounding has been in that room, has soaked up the live music, has very likely been on that stage at least once in their careers. But it's not like the Grand Ole Opry, which is enormous. This is a pretty intimate sized room, two levels, but we're going to be able to see every single face in the crowd while we play, which is something I really enjoy.
And you've played with a lot of big name artists, Buddy Guy, the late People Bryson.
Yeah.
Tell us more about those experiences.
I've been very fortunate to work with many of my musical heroes and usually folks older than myself. And you fall into it, it's always about who you know and who you've been working with, who invites you into their circle. I have a lot to thank Ron Holloway for, who is residing in the DC area, legendary jazz saxophonist. He used to tour with Dizzy Gillespie as a part of his quintet. And then Ron later had his own band called the Ron Holloway Band that I was a part of. But Ron had been in Susan Tedeschi's band. He had been great friends and band members with Warren Haynes, some of the members of the Allman Brothers. And so through his friendships, I was invited into those circles at certain shows and had a chance to be on stage with some of these folks. It's amazing.
Yeah. And another musician that you've performed with is Jonathan Butler.
Yes, Jonathan Butler. That is thanks to Dave Koz and Randy Jacobs of the Boneshakers, being Dave Koz's music director also. We all wear many hats, right?
Yes.
And Jonathan is very good friends with not only Dave, but Randy as well. And there's a wonderful music cruise that happens every year, the Dave Koz cruise. And a lot of Dave's close friends are invited to perform on these boats. Very talented people. I get to pinch myself every time I'm on this boat. Like, how do I get to be amongst all this musical greatness? But yes, Jonathan Butler has been on those. And just this past year, we were in Brazil and I got to sing back up on one of his shows.
Fascinating. And Jonathan Butler is great live, as well as Dave Koz, too.
Oh, yeah. Very high energy, very in the moment performers. And Jonathan just has such a joy about him. He just radiates it. So whether you're on stage or in the audience, you just feel that as he was performing.
Yeah. And you're originally from the Bay Area of California. You lived in DC and now you're in Nashville. What was kind of like the aha moment for you? Aha moment with music and also like culture change too.
Ooh. Yeah, there have been multiple culture changes through my through my many transitions of where I've been living, the scenes that I've been a part of. I've always been an entertainer. From the time I was 3, 4 years old, I was on stages doing talent competitions, and I just have always loved to entertain people. But as a teenager, it's when I really realized it was the musical aspect of entertaining that I just knew I belonged to. I knew I wanted to go to Berklee College of Music. It was the only school I applied to. I got in. I had multiple scholarships, and I was very lucky for that. But music has always been a driving force for me. And there was a period when I lived in China, short period, 3 months. I was with my band Moonshine Society, and we had a residency at the House of Blues and Jazz. And I took a day with our bass player because we wanted to go see the Jade Buddha statue. Now, hear me out. We go to this beautiful spot in Shanghai, China, and I'm looking at this statue, and I can see around me that there are people having some emotional moments when they're witnessing this statue. It means a lot to them culturally. And I just had this spark where I knew going around the world and connecting people with music, that was really what I wanted to do, and I felt like that's why I was here. And ever since then, it doesn't matter the language that the audience speaks, it doesn't matter what country we're in, somehow the music is the great unifier in all of those rooms. And at the end, you can see the happiness that you're bringing to people for 2 hours, a way to get away from their daily lives and just come together as a group, and it's really fantastic.
That's true. Music is a universal language and it brings people together, which is so beautiful. And you mentioned you went to Berkeley. So, how did those skills from Berkeley sharpen you as a musician?
Ooh. I entered Berkeley as a vocalist. I left Berkeley as a musician. When I walked in, I wasn't a stranger to the stage. Performing in front of a crowd, I had done, and I had no stage fright. But learning the language of music and how to speak to your fellow musicians, I completely learned that from that college. And being able to now walk on stage with a chart that I've created, walk a band that you've never met before in 2 or 3 sentences as to exactly what we're about to play, and it all goes off without a hitch. That's you can only get it from a place with fellow musicians, professionals. Hit all the jams you want, hit all the karaoke nights you want, but the language of music, that's what separates people. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what is the most meaningful song that you've ever wrote?
Ooh. Ooh, that's a hard one. That's like asking someone to pick their favorite child.
Right.
There's a song that I wrote, called "The One Who Got Away," and I recorded it prior to putting out any studio albums with Moonshine Society or the Boneshakers. But I wrote it when I was in the middle of a divorce that was subsequently while I was dealing with cervical cancer. And I'm cancer free now, many years, thank goodness. But in that really dark moment, I think some of the best music came out of me. And I was given the opportunity to record it at a studio in Falls Church, Virginia. And the response to that song was so overwhelming. People just connecting with the emotional aspects of it and the sadness of it. Um, and because of that, it gave me the courage to then go record a full studio length album. And that album wound up winning many awards, and here we are now. But it just took that one song to kind of kick it off into the next level.
Right on. And for people who have never been to Nashville, what are some places to go to and places to eat?
Oh, goodness. Okay. East Side Bowl. You have to go to East Side Bowl. Imagine the Big Lebowski like a fever dream of a 1970s quirky bowling alley. This is East Side Bowl, but I'm telling you to go there because in addition to being a bowling alley, there are 3 music venues inside of it. There's also a photography exhibit. The food there is like bowling alley food, but the tater tots. That's the secret. Go for the tater tots while you're there. And then if you want just really good food, I love tacos. Everywhere I go, I always ask my Uber drivers, what's your favorite taco spot? So the very first spot that someone in Nashville sent me to was Red-Headed Stranger, and I recommend it to everybody. They have very inventive, delicious tacos.
Nice. Can't go wrong with tacos. Love tacos. I grew up on tacos, being originally from Arizona. So,
There you go.
yeah. What about velvet taco or Torchy's taco?
I like velvet taco. I like the vibe of Red-Headed Stranger if it's a daytime group meeting, but if you're looking for a spot to pregame or postgame, if you're hitting the bars or a live music spot, Velvet Taco is a good late night taco spot.
Sweet. And I mean, you can't go to Nashville without getting a Nashville hot chicken. Okay. Prince's or Hattie B's?
Prince's, Hattie B's, don't get me wrong, they're an institution, but it's for the tourists. If you're a local, you go to Prince's.
Nice. I went to Prince's yesterday.
Well, then you're considered a local.
Sweet. What is your favorite thing about performing live?
My favorite thing about performing live, I get to slip into another persona when I'm on stage. And I can be a very powerful feeling creature on stage. And the music that I like to perform and that the Boneshakers perform, some of it's very tongue in cheek, some of it is very independent, some of it can be very sexy, very funny. And you get to do all of that for an audience in 90 minutes. But when you walk off that stage, you can go back to being daytime Jenny again. And I don't know, it's a way to kind of have a superpower, if you will.
Okay. So how are the Boneshakers different from the other bands that you've performed in?
With the Boneshakers, it is a partnership. Randy Jacobs started the band 30 plus years ago, and I've been blessed to have been invited to come in as their latest vocalist. But he and I very much work as musical partners. Other bands I've been a part of, if it was my own band like Moonshine Society, I was leading it. I was the focal point. I really enjoy being able to have a musical partner to bounce ideas off of. I think that the songs are much stronger that way when it's a collaborative effort.
Nice. And what are some tips for aspiring musicians?
Ooh, get out there. There's no right time to start getting on stage, to start performing for people. And you're only going to get stronger the more you do it. And also just be yourself. So many people are concerned about what's going to hit, what's going to work for the algorithms, what's going to chart high, what do people expect of me. The best artists never cared about that. The best artists were breaking the boundaries of that. And those are probably the last things they were thinking about. At the end of the day, great art will rise to the top. I firmly believe that great artistry is really what's going to create a fan base for you. And I think that audiences can tell when something's genuine versus if someone's trying to fake it because they think that's what they want to see or hear. So just be yourself.
Nice. And yeah, that's the best advice for sure. Okay. So the show's hitting the high note. What has been the high note for you?
Oh, I got to pick one, just one.
Yeah. Pick like the top 3.
Well, last year, finally got my first Billboard top 10 album. I'd never been on Billboard charts before, so that was a pinch me day for sure. That's got to be in the top 3. The moment I mentioned in China, just when I kind of knew this is what I meant to do, that I don't know if anything's ever going to be able to top that. We're always searching for what we're supposed to be doing, what we feel like we're here to do. And then this summer, less than a month ago, the Boneshakers played at the Suwalki Blues Festival in Poland. And I had never performed in Poland before. We were the opening night act. We were at a big, beautiful theater. It was a ticketed event. We were the only band playing that night, and it was sold out. And this crowd was so incredible. And at the end of the night, to just see the lights come on and to see all those bodies and to know they were there for the music and they really liked what we brought. Yeah, it felt really great. It felt like we've been humping the last few years around the world trying to make this thing bigger and grow, and now it feels like the culmination's happening.
Very nice. And Poland, of all places, that's pretty spectacular.
Right?
Yeah. Wow. And did you get to explore Poland while you were there?
I really wish we had. A lot of our international touring, um, you wake up that morning, you go to sound check, you get ready, you do the show, you're in the hotel at night, and then you're probably leaving before 6 a.m. to get to the next spot. So the touring might look glamorous on paper. It's a lot of hard work. It's not a vacation. But next time maybe we can carve in an extra day for that.
Nice. And how can more people find out about your music?
I love that question. You can find the Boneshakers at officialboneshakers.com. All of our social handles are official Boneshakers, and you can find me and everything I'm doing at jennylanger.com.
So, Jenny, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this.
You're welcome. For Jenny Langer, I'm Kevin Cusack. Thank you all for tuning in to Hitting the High Note. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right there.
Well, I'll be following you, and I look forward to seeing everything you got to capture while you were here in town.
Yeah. Thank you.